The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, hey everybody, this is Ken Krell. Welcome to today's presentation. You're in for a giant treat, but before we start, I want to make sure you guys can hear me okay. We've had a little bit of a speed issue on the internet here in Manila. So just pop in the chat if you can hear me. I'd really appreciate that. Just let me know we are good to go. If you are able to hear me, just pop in that. If Brian says yes. Okay. Jimmy says yes. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. Okay, Melanie says yes. Great, I'm seeing some new names here too. That's fantastic. Okay, great. Give me 1 second over here. And Joe says yes too. Excellent. Okay, cool. So let me just do this, and we're going to be great to go. Today we're going to start in just 1 second. Want to just make sure that we're all set up on both ends over here. So today I want to make sure that you honor your time. I'm going to go pretty quickly today, so be prepared to take a lot of notes. You can do screenshots and so on and so forth. We've got a lot going. So all right, let's go. Brian's in New Zealand. Excellent. Okay, so I'm here in Manila. It's 8 a.m. in Manila, and I'm just going to count down to 3, and we'll rock and roll. So here we go, guys. 3, 2. Well, hey everybody, it's Ken Krell. Welcome to today's presentation. We have a lot in store for you today, and your guest speaker, I got to tell you, is amazing. I know this person very well. I've known this person for nearly 60 years. I can tell you he is dedicated to making you have fun, making a lot of money, and enjoying the process all the way down the line. That, of course, is me. Today we're going to talk about how to create and deploy high-impact content strategies that attract clients, gain trust, build your powerful brand, and convert lurkers into rabid fans that will buy from you on your command. Now, that sounds pretty significant, doesn't it? But I'm serious about that. We're going to walk you through some case studies, going to show you how it's done, and we'll give you an opportunity to get it done in a real easy fashion. So it's a big promise, and my intention is to deliver that. My goal today is that you'll walk away knowing the strategies you want to implement immediately to create a dependable, consistent marketing program. And the words dependable and consistent are in green because that's money. That brings you prospects, clients, and the customers that pay you over and over and over again. Okay, that's what I want you to do. Now, there wasn't supposed to be a question mark there, but that's what it's all about. So for you, what about you? How many of you guys would be jazzed if you walked away from our workshop today with a real plan on how to make content marketing work for your business and make money? If that's you, just pop in the chat and say me, and we will be in perfect shape. All right, we're going to use this chat today, by the way. So talk to me throughout the chat. We have an intimate group. Melanie says me, Brian says me. So talk to me just like we're having a one-on-one conversation, because today, like I said, is all about you. This presentation has never been given before. Literally, I created it for you over the past 24 hours. So it is as fresh as it's going to be. And I want you to understand that when I create presentations like this, I create them for you. Okay, so really important that you honor your time and participate as much as you can. So let's rock and roll. As I said, the time is for you, so I want to make the most of it. Turn your cell phones in the silent or vibrate position. Same thing with anything else that will distract you. If anyone's bothering you, put your Skype in the do not disturb position, which I forgot to do already. But I want you to understand that today really is about revolutionizing the way you think about content and giving you some freedom to be able to create wealth for you and for your life. So let's rock and roll. By the way, today is not for small thinkers. We're going to be doing a lot of things that you may feel to be renegade, and we're going to play a much, much bigger game. And if that's okay with you, you can just give me a big yes, because if you're thinking small and you're all about but I can't, that's not the mentality that's going to work for you today. Okay, do we agree? I was saying a hell yes. Okay, awesome. All right. So one other thing too, just as with every other webinar that you're on, or any other online workshop, there will be a very special offer at the end. Okay, so no surprises. It's going to be fantastic. But I also want to earn the right to be able to offer that to you. So if I give you great content today, and I've got a lot in store for you, is it okay if I spend a few minutes to actually give you that offer and give you that opportunity to go further with this? Okay, and by the way, of course, it's up to you. You can flip me off and log off and go out of this, but just want to make sure that it's okay with you guys. And I'm seeing a big bunch of yeses. Of course, duh, we know. So no problem. Okay, great. Then let's rock on. I want to get started right here. How many of you guys are thrilled and happy with your results for the past 12 months? I'm going to talk about thrilled and overjoyed and happy with the results of the past 12 months. And I'm seeing crickets here in the room. That's typical. Okay, we've done that. We've asked this question for months, and our studies showed that the vast majority of everybody, like 80%, are not happy with what they've done over the past 12 months. Not happy at all. And they spent a lot of money. They spent thousands of dollars on the training and education. They've been in the game for well over a year. Some of them 5, 6, 7 years, but have not made the money that they have wanted to make. Okay.
Testing.
Hey, Gina, we can hear you. If you want to mute yourself now, that'd be awesome. Okay. Anyway, so maybe okay, there we go. Great, thank you. So anyway, the problem is that you're focusing on the wrong thing, and this is what your world is, right? The problem is you're focusing on all the multiple things you need to do, and there's just a lack of focusing on the bottom line rather than the madness. And I'm not going to take you through all the things that I know are stopping you, because today is about starting, but that's the challenge. And my objective today is to make things a whole lot simpler and easier, effectively giving you the easy button. Okay, so for those of you who are not familiar with me, because I see a couple of new names, as I said, you've not been focusing on the madness. It's been or you've been focusing on the madness, not on making money. Today is about making money. Guys, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Ken Krell. For the past 30 plus years, I've trained thousands of people to make millions of dollars in real estate investments and in business. I've created and managed multi-million-dollar projects internationally. That, by the way, is not my own pet tiger. The tiger actually is the Tiger Kingdom in Chiang Mai in Thailand, where I live. I live in Bangkok. And when you come visit me, we'll go up to Chiang Mai, and you can pet the tiger and take your picture taken as well with tigers of all sizes. Anyway, I love to climb tall buildings in a single bound. That's the 62-story hotel that's right in the middle of Bangkok called Banyan Tree. We do a vertical marathon once a year at the Banyan Tree, and by the way, you do have to climb 62 floors. So I'm pretty excited about doing that. But there are easier ways, and one of them is the elevator. Okay, I've consulted on business development and financing worldwide, assisted in multi-million-dollar product launches. I'm the founder and executive director of the Institute for Totalpreneurship, where we help entrepreneurs become totalpreneurs, because totalpreneurs have it all. And that's the lifestyle, that's the health, that's the family, that's everything, which is what I want you to experience. And we've moved into the software business a few years ago, and really in a very big way this year. So I'm the founder and creative director of iBoostify Solutions. If you use Infusionsoft, you definitely want to reach out to me, because we just released the email deal killer of Infusionsoft right now, where now you can actually geo-target with Infusionsoft. It's really super exciting. And by the way, I am a lifestyle entrepreneur. I do travel the world, and love doing that. So you'll see a few pictures here of me in Nepal and in Myanmar and so on. And I do a lot of traveling with my mom. My mom is 82 years old now, and she was trekking the mountains of Nepal with me just a few short years ago. So she's a pretty exciting lady, and I'm pretty excited to be able to do my life and spend these years with her. She's grown up so much. I really love her. Today we have a very special guest with us. And she is my friend Gina Graves. Gina, are you there? I know she's lurking in the background a little bit.
I am here.
She is excellent. Gina is the dean and founder of Directions U. She's also the co-founder of Divisio. She is known as the JV Queen, or has been known as the JV Queen. She's not wanting to do a bunch of JVs anymore, because she's moved on into some significantly giant projects that I'm super excited to be hearing about. And I know her, quite frankly, as a sex symbol and humanitarian. So how you doing, kiddo?
Oh, Ken, you are so nice. Thank you.
Well, you wore one of my favorite outfits just the other day, and I got to tell you, I'm super excited. The guys still whistle at you, I'm told, so pretty exciting. So anyway, Gina will be with us throughout the presentation. She'll be popping in. She is a master of both content creation, content deployment, content leverage, and engagement. And we partner up on a lot of things. So I'm really excited about having Gina be part of today's presentation with you. So today, let's just dive in. You ready, kiddo?
Absolutely.
Okay, here we go. So I want you guys to create a six-figure 2016. This is going to be your year of action. And I mean less learning and more earning, less talking about it and more creating momentum, getting results, and making it happen. Because at the end of the day, your speed and size of your profit is going to be based upon how aggressive you are. So if you're going to be shy and going to lurk in the background, that is not going to work, okay? And you'll be frustrated. And our objective is not to have the same conversation with you this time next year as we're having right now. We have seen people, Gina and I, in our coaching programs where we talk with them and they're in the same place year after year. And no matter what we do, no matter how much we try, they're stuck in their own way. And our objective right now is to be sure that you are not among those people. Okay, so are we good with that? Just pop in the chat, give me a big yes. Okay, cool. All right. So guys, what's it going to take? It's going to take, number one, simplicity, a winning system that you can actually understand and explain to other people. My sense of it is if you can't explain it to somebody else, it's just too complicated or you're not going to do it. Does that make sense, right? So I want things to be really simple. All right. Next, I want you to be able to focus. You got to focus on moving forward. No more bright, shiny objects. When you pick something that you're going to do, stay in that one thing and continue to press on. So many of you, and by the way, I look at myself in the mirror when I say this many times, so many people are going from one bright, shiny object to another, and they keep getting all the JV Zoo and the Warrior Forum offers and this and that and so on, and they go from training and seminar from one to the other and never finish anything, and then they're left with nothing. That is not what we're going to do now. And last but not least is consistent action, which does tie in with that focused. You've got to be consistent in what you're doing because, again, if you're not, you won't get the results that you need. It's sort of like showering. You got to be consistent in showering if you want to be in any kind of relationship with anybody. You got to be consistent with taking your vitamins and getting the right amount of sleep if you want to be able to function, right? So that's what we're looking for. Now, by the way, as we go through today, I want to just reiterate that results, as in anything, are not typical. Okay, if you follow what we're going to talk about today, you will make money, no question about it. But how much do you make and what you do will depend upon what you do, what you're selling, what your funnel is, and whether you actually take action or just go, that's nice, I'll think about it. So the average person, I got to tell you, you know this, the average person does what? Zero. So the average results of anything are zero. Hopefully, you guys will be far above the average. And by the way, this is not about get rich quick at all. When I take you through the system that I'll be talking with you about, you're going to hear reality, and you're going to recognize that there's not, get rich quick is a different definition. To me, get rich quick is if you can make a lot of money within a year. Okay, well, I want to take like the Japanese version of it, right? I want you to think about the growing of bamboo for a moment. The action in terms of bamboo takes place below the ground. You think nothing's happening, and then all of a sudden one day, bam, it pops right through. That's what we're going to do. We're going to build our foundation and make a whole ton of money along the way. You guys good with that? All right, cool.
If I could just for 1 minute, Ken?
Yeah.
Maybe 30 seconds. Here's how I like to say it. It's about how can you turn your 1-year goals into your 12-week goals and actually do it in a way that's achievable in 12 weeks instead of 12 months.
I love it.
It's the biggest reason people call me Leveragina. And that's why I'm not using the JV Queen as much these days. Leveragina is what I'm all about.
I love
Leverage.
It. That's true. And that's really key. That's a good way of putting it, because when we look at 12 weeks is what, you guys? It's 3 months. And that's a perfect time frame to be able to build something of substance. Because what you've got to do is you've got to go ahead. Whoops, hang on a second. You've got to go. I'm going to stop for 1 second here and mute my Skype because that's going on here. So let me just do that. And Chris, thanks for your note. I appreciate that. Okay, great. So here we go. What we want to do is we really do want to compress time. Okay, so let's talk about content marketing, because that's what this is all about. And I talked to you in some of the emails that you got about Frank Kern. I talked to you about a bunch of different companies like Virgin and so on. These guys market by providing value. So what's content marketing? It's creating and distributing content to attract customers. Okay, no great realization there, but it can be any media online. Now, the thing that's fundamental about this, and you may have seen some of the videos I sent out to you prior to today's session, it is not promotional. Okay, it's not going to sell. It's to engage and inform. I want you to think about this. When you go out on a date, and you're sitting at dinner or coffee or whatever, talking about yourself, if that's all you're talking about, don't consider that there's a second date unless you've got somebody that's not really big on self-esteem. Okay, if all you are is about yourself and not serving the other person, you will not succeed. That's kind of 101 in business. I was in Phoenix just last week with Gary Vaynerchuk, a week before with Gary Vaynerchuk, who's a giant social media person right now. And was the founder of Wine Library TV. And I got to tell you, his talk is very, very serious. It's all about serving others. And when you serve others, you make money inherently because people see where you're coming from and want to give you money. Okay, that's why we created World Love Week a year or so ago to put love back in business, put heart back in business. So content marketing is a way of actually doing just that. Okay, it's going to be an ongoing process, by the way. You can't just pop something up once and then think it's done. Okay, it's like eating or showering. You've got to do it on a regular basis. It's nutrition and it's building a relationship. And relationships you just don't. I mean, yes, there's friends you may not see in 20 years, and you can pick up where you left off. But to be able to have that relationship, it took a giant foundation, didn't it? Okay, so you've got to have something ongoing with your clients and customers, and that means keeping a steady stream of content happening. Okay, steady stream, continuity, consistency. Okay, why do you care about this? Well, because quite frankly, content marketing, we primarily consume information on a regular basis. We want to learn more, we want to know more, and we're always looking for meaning in what we do. Okay, this, by the way, pulls customers to you rather than pushing them. And by the way, it's inexpensive because in most cases, you're not having to run an ad. You're distributing content to people who want to publish it for you. Big difference. Okay, we will do advertising, absolutely. But the majority of activity that you're doing right now does not need to be money spent on advertising. Is that refreshing for you guys? Are you guys liking that whole idea about not having to spend money on ads right now? I mean, Facebook ads, you'll do some of them, but nowhere near what the other guys are doing. Okay, they're doing the cheap way in terms of trying to go for the quick buck. But content marketing gives you a much, much longer and deeper relationship with a customer. Make sense? Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Good. I'm glad you guys are with me. So let's talk about some stats. This may help you. 97%, you get 97% more links to your website from a content piece than from an ad. 63%, by the way, more influence comes from content than from advertising to the buying decision. That's huge. 70% of all consumers prefer articles over advertising. Well, that should come as no great shock. But look at the numbers here, you guys. And by the way, 60% of readers have positive feelings after reading your content, okay, assuming your content has value. Okay, I read a book by a best-selling author a number of years ago. Loved his first book. His second book was a piece of garbage, absolute crap, and had no respect for that individual ever since. Okay, no respect for that individual ever since, because what he did was demean my time. Okay, so you've got to have good, solid quality, or you risk that situation, and that person has not recovered. Okay, next, 76% of a chief marketing officer's plan to increase their content marketing budgets, and 72% believe that content marketing is the new SEO. Okay, the smart people are putting their money into content rather than in ads in the traditional sense. Do you see what's happening here? So that's a challenge for a lot of marketing companies, and for newspapers and magazines and so on. The traditional marketing and advertising channels are suffering from that. But content works. Think about in the old days when you read the newspaper or a magazine and you see a one-page article that was really an ad. Those converted really well because they were content-oriented. How does traditional marketing compare? Well, get a load of this. 44% of email is unopened. That's pretty bad. Okay, 86% of people skip TV ads, and 91% of people unsubscribe from company emails. You can't do the old way anymore. And that's what you've been doing. Understand it won't work as it hasn't worked. That's why so many of you are frustrated. You try to send emails out and just survive on emails. It doesn't work anymore. Okay, traditional marketing, get a load of this. For every dollar spent, content marketing creates 3 times as many leads as traditional marketing methods. 3 times. So we're talking about some giant leverage, you guys, when you actually add value to somebody's life. Okay, value added. Yeah, Joe, I can't help you with the audio. Hopefully it's on your end. Can everybody else hear me okay? Sometimes Usually it's on the other person's, and you may want to just go out and.
It's cutting out a little bit, but I'm wondering if it's mine or yours.
I hope
but
it's.
I do hear it cutting in and out.
I hope it's yours and not mine. They're actually doing construction next door now, and they're pile driving behind my head. So hopefully you can't hear that. But let's press on because I can't fix any of that right now. Okay, so let's keep going. So content marketing costs, by the way, 62% less than traditional advertising. So not only are you getting a 3 times result, but you're also getting a 62% saving. That's nice. Okay. Shocking, choppy audio, a bit fuzzy. Yeah. So yeah, I'm sorry, you guys. I can't change the bandwidth here, unfortunately, and it was super good yesterday. So bear with me. We'll hopefully it'll come back. So what we had to do is we need to create our content. I'll just talk a little bit slower, just so that way it gives more of a chance for the for the sound to come through. We'll see if that works any better. Okay, maybe that'll work. Well, it means it will take a little bit longer today, but at least that way we'll get hopefully get the sound out. So we're going to create our content brand strategy. Now, what is a content brand? It's how people view your content and view you as a content publisher. Branding is the bottom line for success, you guys. Think about this for a second. When you think about Virgin, what do you think about? You think about a company. In fact, I'll ask you, what do you think about when you think about Virgin, whether it's Virgin Airlines or Virgin Virgin Money or Virgin Active, the gym? When you think about Richard Branson's Virgin brand, what do you think about? What do you see? I see fun. I see quality. I see low prices. I see Branson. Yeah, Richard Branson's his own brand, right? So we need to be recognizing that content branding versus traditional branding is customer centered. Okay, we're focusing on our customer. And by the way, our goal is to establish, obviously, a good reputation with our customer, which means, again, providing quality. So what are the 5 keys then to creating a timeless, and timeless is important because we want to make sure that our brand lasts, not that it's just a flash in the pan, but it's long term. How do we do it? Start writing these down. Number 1 is to understand your customers. You need to know who they are, and that's going to involve, obviously, surveying them, quizzing them, listening to them, talking to them, and paying attention. Just because you think they need something, or just because you think that they have a problem, you don't know until you actually find out. So you need to understand who your customer is so that way you can deliver to them what they want. Next, you need to serve their needs. Hello, once you know what they want, then go ahead and serve their needs. That should be pretty simple. Okay. Then you want to be consistent because they need to recognize that they can count on you. If you're flying all over the place and you're sending multiple different messages all over that are not consistent, or you don't have regular email communication, or you don't have a regular newsletter that it just comes out every now and then, you're not going to have as much respect. People can't depend upon you that way. Think about relationships that you're in right now. If people are inconsistent, then you can't count on them. You can't depend upon them. It's like having a cat. The only thing that's consistent about a cat is that they're inconsistent, right? So that's really super important. Next, you need to build authority. Okay, when you're putting content out there, you can curate content, absolutely, and content curation is a really easy way of leveraging other people's information and being able to take credit for it as you bring other people good content. But you've got to be in a position where you're building authority along the way. Because as you do that, even if you're curating other people's content, people are respecting you for giving them valuable information that they need. I know that when I open up an email from certain people, one of them is Todd Brown, who's been on our virtual platform before, that whenever I open up something from Todd, I will get great value, which is why I share Todd with you. Okay. Same thing with a number of other people. When I bring people on, Daniel Levis is another one. In fact, we're mailing for him this week because he's got great stuff. So when I have that kind of quality, I'm associated with that kind of quality as well. So build authority. Next, always quality. Never, ever cheap out. I'd rather have dead air than throw junk at you. Okay, I'd rather have dead air. And if you do screw up and if you do have something that's less than what you should be doing, then be transparent about it and acknowledge it because people respect transparency and they love the underdog. And frankly, they love it when you make a mistake. You know why? Because they make mistakes all the time too. So they want to be sure that it validates their humanity. Okay, so when you acknowledge a mistake or tell your story, people jump in with it and they will recognize you and love you even more. It's really that important. Okay, so what kind of content should we create? What kind of content should we create? There's 6 major types, and we can get pretty granular here. So here we go. Number 1 is text content. That's blog posts, articles, social media updates, and so on. Now, we're going to dive kind of deep into this because there's many types of text that we can use. Number 1, we can do step-by-step content. We can do tips, and we would usually the 7 tips. That works very well. Basic information, just overview stuff. You can do news. You can give lists. You see a lot of that, by the way, in any of the, like Cosmo, for example. Case studies are giant. Interviews in text mode. Ebooks are text. Reports and white papers. Okay, so all those are text, and you can go more and more and more. Transcripts of webinars are text as well. Excerpts of interviews of anything of that nature, of video are text. Okay, next. Visual content. Okay, so I'm talking about video now. I'm talking about visual, just like static video. Static visual. So photographs, illustrations, infographics, memes, comics, slideshows. Multiple ways that you can get a message out by using different senses. Next is audio. Podcasts, audio from webinars. We're talking about narrated articles, for example, interviews. They're huge. Okay, so, and by the way, you can do one or all. I'm going to recommend that you do more of those. Okay. Okay, Daniel Levis, Brian, just check your email. I'll be mailing you some stuff from Daniel. I sent you an email about 12 hours ago, as a matter of fact, but you got the spelling correct. He's awesome, absolutely awesome, an email specialist, and he's a renegade like me. So he tells it like it is, and he doesn't have any problem offending anybody, or let me rephrase that, offending the sacred cows. Okay, I've always respected people that are willing to just be themselves, because when you are, think about this for a minute, you guys. If you give good quality content and you're you create that brand. You can't be everything to all people. You've got to, you will ultimately polarize some people. It's just how it is. Some people will not like you no matter what you do. A lot of you know me for doing videos in the pool back home in Bangkok. I had some comments from people telling me that they thought it was unprofessional because they said I was nearly naked. Well, yeah, if you're in the swimming pool wearing a bathing suit, surprise, you're nearly naked. If you don't like it, gee whiz, I'm sorry. Clearly, I'm not for you. So if people can't get into who you are, don't change you. Okay, I mean, you can look at it. If you're still successful, that's great. If everyone's running away from you, then maybe you want to look at it. Okay, but be who you are. Okay. Okay, let's keep going. Video content. Video content would include demos and tutorials, brand documentaries, promotional videos, product demos, case studies and testimonials. Once again, behind the scenes. People love behind the scenes stuff. Webinars or presentations like this, an interview, event videos, vlogs, and how about Vine, Blab, Periscope, and some of the other new things that are fast and easy to consume video. All of these are great ways in which you can communicate. And then there's the interactive content. We're talking about surveys, quizzes, contests, apps. We're talking about social media groups where people are going to play, and infographics that would have active links where you can actually play with them. So you can take like the static infographic and move it around on a screen and so on. So there you go. Okay, perfect. Now, number 6 is the power of story. Now, if you've heard of the hero's journey, that's basically the story of Luke Skywalker in Star Wars or any other movie you've ever seen. The hero's journey involves a number of different elements: the setting, the character, the conflict, and the resolution of that conflict. And if you just follow the hero's journey, you can create a great story, because there's always going to be a conflict unless there's some fight or war or battle, and a lot of times it's internal. Okay, you're going to have a boring story. So there needs to be some sort of conflict, whether it's getting to school on time, or making sure that in Fred Smith, Federal Express, his big story was he couldn't make his payroll, so he went to Vegas and gambled and bet everything and won and was able to make his payroll, and the rest is history. Those are the kind of stories that people sit on their edge of the seats for. Okay, but those are 6 giant ways of running content. Now, with all those 6 ways, how do we power it up? Well, you're going to power it up 3 different ways. Number 1, we're going to leverage the content. Okay, we're going to leverage the content. So if you have, for example, one article that you've written, we're going to want to leverage that by turning that into different pieces, different formats. I'll get into that in a second. Then we want to leverage the reach of that. So let's say we're only going to YouTube. Well, we want to then look at perhaps going to Vimeo or going to other share sites, not just video, but we would take that and leverage the content from what we just saw a second ago, and then put that into a different format and put it into a different arena. Next, we're going to leverage the engagement of it. Because at the end of the day, if people aren't talking to you and you're not responding to them, then you're talking to the ether. That's why when I ask you to talk to me in the chat, it becomes a two-way communication. So why don't you just do that for right now? Does that make sense? Just pop in the chat and give me a big yes. This is engagement. So I want you to engage with me right now. Just pop in the chat, all of you. Okay, it doesn't take much effort, and just give me a big yes. This is important, and I want you to understand why I'm doing this right now. So just pop in the chat, give me a big yes. There we go. Thank you guys. Excellent. Thanks everybody. Appreciate that. Now I'm acknowledging you. So I'm going to go and acknowledge Tracy. Tracy's here. Hey Tracy, good to see you. And Joyce and Rick and Melanie and Kathleen. So now I'm seeing what Tracy's writing, and I'm laughing I'm not going to repeat it, but it's wonderful. And here's the thing: you've engaged with me, I've responded immediately, and now some of you are engaging back again. Okay, when people engage with you, this is extremely important. When you put something up on your blog post, for example, or make a comment in Facebook on your Facebook page, or whatever, when you put it up, if you think you can set it and forget it, you just kick yourself in the butt. Because if someone makes a comment and you don't respond, it's like ignoring somebody. If you respond to them and you respond to them immediately, Facebook will reward you because you'll actually see on your screen that there's a response time that Facebook's starting to post now. But secondly, other people will see that response and they will start jumping into the conversation as well. And that's what builds your reputation, right? Bobby says yes with an exclamation point. So that's why on a webinar, I always ask you to jump into the chat so I can build that relationship with you, because I can't physically see you as if I was in a live room, but it also builds that relationship that I have with you. And I get so many people that, whether it's at a live event when they walk up to me and they say, Ken, I love your trainings. And I don't know who they are because I've never seen them, but they know me from this relationship that we have. When they introduce themselves, I'm like, oh gosh, I know you because I've seen you in the in the webinar room. So I get that a lot, and I want you to be able to do the same thing. So let's get a bit deeper. How do we leverage the content? Okay, well, let's just say that let's say we have just one article that we wrote. Okay, what can we do with that one article to have it be more powerful for you? Because the last thing we want to do is to have to write 14 million articles and go out into 85 different arenas, right? We want to be working smart, not hard. So here's what I'm talking about. If we take the one article, we could turn it into a blog article, an ebook. We could record an audio of it. We could make a video of it. In fact, some of the videos that you've seen this week came from an article. You can make PDF documents that people can download, presentations and slide shares. And by the way, slide shares are super powerful, by the way, which is one reason why LinkedIn bought slideshare.com. You can turn your article into a podcast, into a news feed. You can use it as a status update. You can create a case study with it. You can do an infographic of it, create images and do memes and so on, images with quotes. You can turn that into a survey. So you'd be repurposing into a survey. Make a forum post with it, a blog, comments, press releases. You see where I'm going with this. That one piece of content that can be turned into multiple, not everything is going to be appropriate, of course, but you can turn it into multiple different pieces simply by repurposing that. Now, repurposing is something that a lot of you've heard about, but how many of you are actually actively doing it? How many of you, you can answer this now, how many of you are actively doing it? Yeah, not many of you, okay? In fact, nobody's responding to me here. So, and I don't think it's because you're being lazy, right? So when you're actually able to turn that one piece into many, it starts to look like this, okay? It's very colorful, and that's what I want you to have. I want you to have something that's very colorful along the way. So one piece of content can turn into many. One piece of content can turn into many. Now, remember, the key is to do it. I hear you. I hear you, Tracy. I hear you. So doing it, even if you're doing a little bit, it's better than doing it not at all, right? But when you spin that, and I don't want to use the word spin because it has a bad connotation, but when you repurpose that into these different formats, again, you need to maintain your quality because people are judging you based on that quality. Now, so let's say we had that one article, and now we've turned that into 39 different items. Okay, just that one article is down to 39 different pieces. That's cool, right? I mean, it could be 39, it could be 59, it could be 100 for that matter. It depends upon how well you play it. If you had an article that had 10 points in it, you could take each of those points and turn it into a different image. So that one article could be 10 different images, you see? So you have a lot of power here with what you're doing, a lot of power. The video that I shot that you guys saw after you registered for this event, Some of you saw two, some of you saw one video. Video number 2, I think, had like 7 different tips inside that video. Each of those video tips could have been turned into one separate piece of content. Okay. Now let's leverage the reach of that. Okay. So there's many different ways you can leverage the reach in different places that you can go. What are they? Well, from Vine, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram to SoundCloud, to Medium.com, SlideShare, Cloud, Hub Pages, Wistia, Imgur, Pinterest. Need I go on? There's tons of them. We'll focus on up to about 65 of them, but there's even more than that. Obviously, there's a law of diminishing return as to going out to different audiences. But again, you'd only want to go to targeted areas. But you have so many places, not just Facebook, that you can go to. Some people are just so locked into Facebook as their only solution that they fail to recognize that there's tons of other places. Just like advertisers, they focus on Google when Yahoo and Bing can bring you great results for less money because they don't charge as much. Okay, so think about other ways in which you can play, and you'll be blown away by the way you can simply leverage one piece of content into hundreds, if not thousands, of impressions because it's going all over the interweb. Does this resonate with you guys? Are you guys liking what you're seeing so far? Can you see how you can do this for you? Okay. I mean, this is kind of basic stuff, but my gosh, the power of just following the basics can take you all over the planet. Yeah, I'm saying yes, 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 yes. Okay, great. Thanks, guys. Melanie, Rick, Tracy, thank you so much. Bobby, awesome. So let's keep going. Now let's leverage our engagement. And as I said to you a minute ago, engagement is really the key because you got to get everyone to come to you, and then you got to talk with them. I'll tell you what, I make so much of my money when I show up at physical events. It's absolutely true. When I go to a physical event, the leverage of being in a group of people where I can talk to other people and engage with them and create relationships is gigantic. It's absolutely gigantic. Now, I live in Thailand. It's not that easy to go to all these events in the U.S., but when I do, and I got days of jet lag going and about a week of jet lag coming back, plus the thousands in airfare, it's worth it because the relationships that you can make are giant. So if you are going to run a digital business and you're going to be traveling the world as I do, then building that relationship any way you can, such as responding to a chat, responding to an email, doing a webinar where you're talking to people just like you are now, or doing a Google Hangout where they can see you and you can talk live with them. That's huge and really powerful to be able to leverage, once again, that relationship. Okay, Tracy, you and I met. We met on the Marketers Cruise. We saw each other at another event in California. And while I haven't seen you in a while physically, I still love you to death, right? And we still have that rapport. And every now and then we chat on Facebook. That's the engagement that I want you guys to have with your clients, okay? Because ultimately, wouldn't it be great for your clients to be your friends? Wouldn't it be great for your clients to be your friends? Fascinating. Gina, one of our mutual friends, took a double booth at the Traffic Conversion Summit. A double booth. That's had to be easily over $20,000 that he spent on this thing. And he set a couple of chairs in it, no backdrop. It was just a couple of chairs, and he put a sign up front and said, "Come in and talk to me." And he hung out and talked to some of his existing clients, made a couple new clients, and walked away with a giant profit on that. Okay, did you hear about that one, Gina? Oh, she may have stepped out for a second.
Sorry, Ken. No, I'm here.
Okay.
Your audio is really breaking up for me really badly.
Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. It was so good earlier. But yeah, Tracy says it's deeper engagement after meeting live for sure. So any way that you can make that work, the better. Okay, and I'll tell you the person I'm talking about, and I'm going absolutely blank, which is why I was hoping you'd jump in and because I know you know who this person is. It's a friend of ours. He has high end clients, and it's all based on that relationship. And he hangs out with them. He loves his clients, totally loves his clients. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to build that relationship. Richard Branson loves what he does, doesn't he? And that's what I want you to create. Okay, I sound great in Canada, says Dave, by the way. And yeah, Brian, I agree with you. We got to do it again on better sound, and I promise you we will. But let me keep going here, okay? So stay with me because it's always great the first time around too. Yeah, Bobby, I know. I apologize, man. I don't know what to tell you. I had amazing. I'm staying at this hotel where I have had yesterday amazing internet, 18 up and 18 down, which is key for this, right? So can't tell you. Let me keep going though. Okay. So these are the fundamentals. Okay. We're going to go ahead and we're going to be leveraging our content. We're going to be leveraging our reach. We're going to be leveraging our engagement. Now, how do we put that in place? Let me share with you how some people are doing this. And I think you need to fasten your seatbelts here because this is going to blow your mind. I want to introduce you. Hang on one second here. Let me just pull this out. Okay, I want to introduce you to a gentleman by the name of Robert Currey. Robert lives in Australia. And Robert has been for years a consultant, not a high profile guy. He was never in any media. He was a marketing consultant for many years, and his income wasn't consistent because it depended upon clients. He had written a book, but was just wanting to get it published. It's called Feed a Starving Crowd. It wasn't launched, and all he had was that as a sales manager and a marketing manager, and just really getting his consulting business going. He didn't really know how to get it moving. He didn't even have a funnel. And this guy. Okay, so he started out with a book. He had a fan page on Facebook and had a few blog posts that he had posted. That was all he had. From that, he was able to generate. Get a load of this: 187 content-rich assets. Okay, that's leveraging the content. So from the book and the fan page and just a few posts, 187 content-rich assets. That's giant, isn't it? Well, that's just for starters. Let's see what happened after that. Now we leverage the reach. The reach went out to 65 different outlets, actually more than 65 outlets. And these are platforms, whether it be YouTube or Vimeo or whatever. I mean, he really punched it out and he was able to leverage that. What did that do for him? Here's what I'm saying by fastening your seatbelts. Robert, as I said, had no funnel. He went to get a load of this. Actually, I should tell you what he did first. Here was what we ended up creating. He had his book, okay, which he sold free plus shipping worldwide. He then has a $995 online training and a $10,000 done for you product. Now, how many of you guys would like to have a $10,000 product that you can sell easily? And by the way, it's $10,000 a month. Not $10,000 a year, $10,000 a month. How many would like to have a $10,000 a month product that you can sell consistently? Let me ask you a question. How many of you have heard of Brendan Burchard? And how many of you wanted to emulate what he does? Yeah, a lot of you that are authors and coaches and consultants, Melanie is like, me? Absolutely. Okay, well, that's Tracy says all day long. Yeah, Tracy, for you, this is giant. Okay, this is absolutely giant. Well, that's what this guy did. I don't want to use the word newbie because I don't like the term, but he was basically a novice. I mean, he was a marketing guy, and he was just getting started trying to leverage his book. Well, starting with the book, the fan page, and a couple of posts, and this was his product line. Here's what happened. Nearly 12,500 visitors to his site, 3.6 million impressions, and after 4 months, this campaign went on for a little over 4 months, he generated an over $500,000 annual income, starting from zero. The book hadn't been published. After a year, he's now well over a 7-figure income, and he's not looking back. Okay, how many of you guys would love to have a $500,000 annual income after 4 months? Now, obviously, it depends upon what you're offering, but if you simply created some solid content, you can leverage the heck out of that and make a boatload of money. Because, yeah, Rick says, wow. Melanie says, me. Yeah, because, guys, he created authenticity, he created rapport, he created expert status. And by the way, what happened that really supercharged it was that the media got hold of this because he was all over the place and he was asked to speak locally, internationally, nationally. And when you're speaking on a local basis and you start talking about your clients, you're going to make a ton of money. And I can tell you this from experience because in my early 20s, I was selling real estate in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, USA. And how did I build my business? It was content marketing. And Gina, you'll love this. You'll be so proud of me because at 24 years old or whatever, I was writing a column in the local newspaper. Every other week, I wrote this short article about real estate. And that article with my picture in the paper fed me for years that I was in the real estate business. I never spent a penny on advertising. And I didn't realize at that time.
Content, isn't it an awesome thing?
It was a great, and there were times people were angry with me because I was opinionated. Shocker, that never changed, you know. But boy, when people were even engaged that way, I got attention and I got business, and all I had to talk about was my clients. And by simply talking about my clients and not saying if you want to be a client, I just talked about what the spice of life was, what was happening. People recognized that they could be a client too. So I didn't have to do anything fancy. And trust me, at 24 years old, I wasn't that sophisticated. Guys, this is simple, basic stuff. Now, with that said, what did it translate to? His investment to get all this done was 40 grand. Okay, to get all that content made for him. He didn't do it all himself. Who has time to do all that content? Okay, and to get it all posted everywhere. So it was outsourced. And my team, by the way, okay, we partner with an amazing team that does this. My team did all of it for him. Okay, $40,000 to generate $1 million plus $1 million income, over $500,000 in 4 months. How many of you guys think it's a good deal to turn 40,000 bucks into just 500,000 in 4 months? Is that a good return on investment? Yeah, I'm saying yes, of course, duh. And here's the thing: not everybody can do that. Not everybody can, and some people are throwing money away left and right. And some of you, I know, have spent more than $40,000 on your online education, and you're still struggling. So here's the thing: when you run it right, Melanie says that's a great deal. Kathy says most certainly, sounds great. I need the right content. Rick says for sure. Rick, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, that's the key. And see, here's the thing now. He's still continually being invited to speak as a speaker on the radio, for the podcast. Okay, something to bear in mind, by the way. Notice that, let me back up here for a second and show you. Let's go back up to him here. I'll show you this. Okay, notice he goes from a free plus shipping to a $9.95 to a 10 grand a month. He's not doing the kind of funnel that you're used to seeing, where you go from a $7 to a $29 to a $97 to a $249. He's going straight to $1,000, you guys. Because here's the thing: if you want to make a lot of money, put yourself and position yourself at the high end. And he did, because he branded himself as an expert. The tripwire of his book with the $9 plus, his free plus shipping worked really well. And then he was positioned as a total expert, and then he's on TV and radio and doing local speeches. Well, someone in that position isn't going to have a $39 product. That person's going to have a $1,000 product. And that's how he was positioned, and that's where he is. How many of you guys would like to be positioned as a $10,000 a month person, a coaching person, right? How many would like to have a coaching client that's $120,000? Doesn't take that many people to have as a client to make a few $100,000 a year, does it? Okay, so that's the key. That's the key. Now, to lay this out, is he making money instantly? No, this was a 4-month campaign. To lay it out, you got to actually get the content built. That doesn't happen overnight, especially when you're creating 100 plus content pieces, from an ebook, right? So that takes a little bit. It takes a little bit. Brian says I just bought his book on Amazon for 83 cents straight to my Kindle. Great, wow, perfect. So it's good, right? It's good, makes sense. And now, by the way, you're in his universe. Now you read his book, you get his information, you respect him, you'll spend money with him if it resonates for you. And that's the key. Okay. So the batch process of building your content takes about 30 or so days. And then just like the bamboo, it grows from there. Did you want to add something to that, Gina?
Nope, keep going.
Okay, cool. And by the way, was there advertising involved in this? Sure. There was some ad elements to pump it up a little bit, some Facebook ads and some boosts, because of course you want to add something. It's like having a Prius. A Prius has a battery, but there's also a gas engine to pump it up as well. Okay, so those results, my gosh, they're pretty darn amazing, and he's still at it. If you go to his website, you'll see it. In fact, Brian just bought his book. Okay, so let's talk about Marnie, the wing girl. Marnie's really cool. This woman.
Before you move into Marnie,
yeah,
I'll tell you guys, when I started seeing what was going on with Robert, I was so blown away. I'm like, where do I sign up? And I'm a big part of delivering on this package. Robert was one, probably I would call it half to 2/3 of what Ken and I are going to be sharing with you guys in a little bit. It is really possible to pull in this kind of a result, guys, when you really understand the idea behind leverage. Keep going. Marnie's going to blow them away too.
Oh, I know. Marnie's awesome. So Marnie's known as the wing girl. Okay, and if you Google her, you can go to your website. Marnie is a single mom. She has been in business for 10 plus years. She in her heyday, before we helped her, was making in excess of $20,000+ a month. Okay. And she started out selling ClickBank products. What she does is she was a wing girl. She does dating advice for guys. Pretty cool business. 10 years in the business as a single mom. Now, she was doing her own ClickBank products, then grew her own stuff to her own site, and her people were buying an average of 2 or 3 products per. But then, for whatever reason, the market changed. Marnie wasn't doing the same kind of content work, wasn't doing the same kind of engagement. I guess she must have gotten bored. But what was going on was that she started to lose her traffic. Okay, they were down. It was down 70% from a $17,000 low. She didn't think it could go any lower than that, but it dropped below $10,000 a month. Now, for a single mom, that gets your attention, especially when people are starting to unsubscribe as well. The good news is she had a large content library, because after 10 years of building this business, she had all sorts of content that she could use. But the bad news, once again, is she had virtually no engagement. So she tried to get some help. She spent 40 grand to build a platform that she could run her system on. That did not work. So that was 40,000 thrown away. She spent 100 grand on multiple consultants and got nothing out of that. Okay, I mean, not so good, you guys. I mean, totally not so good. So she's like freaking out.
But Ken, isn't that typical?
Yeah.
So many people I talk to every single day, that's their story. Now, Marnie is one of the worst.
Yeah.
But I have talked to worse than Marnie, for sure. And had that same experience.
Yeah.
It is one of the things that drives me nuts more than any other. There are so many people out there just taking advantage of people.
I know.
Me off.
And me too. And the problem for us as digital marketers is that now everyone's skeptical and they wonder, who can you trust? So,
right.
And here's the beauty though. Let me ask you guys a question. For those of you that know Frank Kern, do you trust Frank Kern? And the answer for virtually everybody is yes. Why? Because Frank provides damn good content. Always does. Takes good care of his customers. I've never seen anything bad about Frank Kern, ever. Okay, that's what you want people to be thinking about you, right? Because that's and when, by the way, when you shine as a straight shooter, you win. Okay, Brian's saying I'm going to use your strategies to promote my newest book. Yeah, I want you to do that. So anyway, she got burned badly, and we see this a lot. Now, Frank Kern, Kern. He's doing a launch right now, as a matter of fact. And when you just watch what he does, it's amazing. And he's just a good old boy. In the old days, Frank had long hair and he played surfer boy. He lives in La Jolla, California. Loves to surf. Now he's very formal. He's cut his hair down and he comes to events not in flip flops and jeans and a t-shirt, but now he comes in a suit. So he's totally changed the way his presentation is. But he's built gigantic rapport. I spent thousands of dollars with Frank. Love him to pieces. Yeah, Kern. You're right, Brian. There you go. So anyway, Marnie got ripped off effectively. And we always feel bad about that. And Gina and I and the people we hang out with don't tolerate that kind of madness. Anyway, let's move on here. When she came to us, she brought us 100 keywords, which, by the way, after about 6 months, we turned into, hang on a minute, we turned into, into about 10,000 keywords because she had so much she could work with. Sometimes you're so close to your own business, you don't recognize all that you have. And I know, Gina, you and I, we have the same thing. That's why we tend to work so well together, because we find each other's assets. So anyway, right? So remember, you got so much. Anyway, here's what happened. We took just 35 of her original assets. We turned them into 613 content-rich assets. Now notice I'm saying they're content-rich because it's quality. If you just take 35 things and just, quote, spin them, then you're turning them into junk, and junk is going to hurt you, not help you. Okay, like I said earlier, if you put out junk, you're going to get beat up for junk. So that's not what we're talking about. It's got to be rich content. Put it on 60 channels, and that turned into over 5,500 posts. Now, if you do the math, 613 times 60, it's a lot more than 5,500. Okay, so my math people out there that are trying to test my math. The reason why it's less than what that that 13 times 60 is because not every piece, if you have a blog post, it's not going to fit on a video site, right? So we have to actually bring it out to what's actually realistic. But with those 5,500, and she was aggressive here. She was aggressive. But with that 5,500 posts and pieces out there, here's what she got: a 51 increase in her profit the following week. Fast results. A 51% increase in profit the following. Now, mind you, it took a good month to prepare that content and longer, right? Because you just can't create 613 pieces of content inside of like 2 hours. Again, if you want quality, it's going to take some time. So there was a good month or so to develop that and build it before it got deployed. Let's be clear about that, right? Next, a 101.5% increase in the engagement of her audience and her, because all of a sudden things were happening. Okay, Marnie had a blog, a podcast. When she would promote her podcast, she'd make one little post. Well, we turned the Saturday blog post into multiple graphics and images and so on. She turned 20 tips into image quotes every other day and brought stories in for people that need to stay in touch. So it was really huge. I mean, she was scared. I mean, she couldn't afford to keep it going down. But now she and she was doing, by the way, just blog articles on Facebook. There was no graphics, so we added infographics. We put things in that absolutely got people engaged to talk with them. And think about this: she's in a dating site. I mean, she helps guys get girls. Are people interested in that? Yes, especially if you're single, right? So for her to have not been engaging is pretty sad. So just doing some simple things that, by the way, we tend to have blinders. We miss some of our own biggest opportunities. Okay, so that's huge. And Michael, I don't know what he's going for a different market. Frank's going to change his suits because he's looking for a big ticket buyer, and a big ticket buyer doesn't want a surfer boy. Okay, it's just a change of the market, change of his brand. That's why he's doing it, and that's why you want to be very careful with how you present yourself. Okay, it's that way. So keep that in mind. I'll give you a little example of that. By the way, Gary Vaynerchuk was speaking at InfusionCon in Phoenix just a week or so ago, and Gary was also at the Traffic and Conversion Summit. Gary has a potty mouth. The F-bomb comes out of his mouth. I mean, it's just like every other word, it seems. And you can count it, and it'll be amazing. Well, Infusionsoft has a much cleaner brand, and they're much more formal. They're delightful people, but they don't want to hear the F-bomb on their stage. That's not part of their brand. Gary had to clean up his act, and did, as a paid speaker, he did. And he said from the stage, "Boy, it's so hard not to," which got a laugh because we all knew what Gary's language is. His branding is to be irreverent, right? So you want to make sure that you honor your brand and stick by it and be consistent. And remember, I keep using that word a lot, be consistent. So this was our engagement. Pretty good, right? By the way, that was all within 1 week. Kapow for that one, right? But let's keep going. Her current monthly revenue right now, by the way, is between $20,000 and $25,000 a month, depending on what kind of promotions she's running. Okay, her management costs to get it done are about $6,000 a month, and which makes just on the low end her net profit about 14 grand a month, which translates to $168,000 a year. Now, what is Marnie doing now? What is her lifestyle like? This is Marnie. Okay, she's doing nothing. She's not active in her business at all. She's taking time off. She's making about 14 grand plus or minus net each month, doing nothing in maintenance mode. How many of you would like to have a 6-figure business in maintenance mode where someone else is doing the work for you that's on your team watching out for you? That's the game. Yeah, me, Melanie says. Yeah, that's the game, right? Pow for that one, right? See, here's the thing, you guys. Real engagement begins and ends with great content, and it's the engagement that brings you the money. It's the engagement that brings you the money. Rick says that's wild. Yeah, it is. Listen, I'll tell you what, Tracy, when Tracy and I hung out at a training that we were at, a video training that we were at in California, she brought some of her clients with her. Her clients adore her, and anything that she would have advised them to do, they would have done. They would have walked through the gates of hell for her because she earned that right. She built that relationship because she gives them great content and great service. Okay, so That's what you want to have with your people. That's why when Frank says something, people follow him. That's why when Gina and I make recommendations, people follow what we're doing, right? So, so there we go with that. Michael, that is her name. Okay, that is her name. So your key to your success, by the way, is a toothbrush. Why on earth would I tell you your key to success is a toothbrush? What do you think, you guys? Why would I use the toothbrush as the metaphor for your key to success? Let's see if you can figure that one out. Pop in the chat. I'll wait for you. Come on. Someone's got to be able to figure this one out. Why would I say the toothbrush is your key to success? Melanie says rinse and repeat. Rick says regularity. Daily job, says Dave. Kathleen says consistency. Rick Tracy says it only works when you brush and write and use it in reliability. Yeah, all of that. Exactly. Guys, it's you to keep your teeth in your mouth, you got to brush every day. At least twice, morning and night, right? So you've got to do a consistent business in your content management, in your content branding. Because again, if you don't, people are going to forget you. Okay, habit forming little things. Exactly right, you guys. Here's the thing. Gina and I have seen, and Tracy, I know you have too, someone will sign up for your list and then 2 days later they'll report you for spam because they forgot who you are. So you've got to build that deep relationship with people. And I'll tell you what, I mean, we get so much data, and Bobby says there are no little things. Well, the little things are important. There really are little things, but everything that you do does matter. Yeah, there Bobby says everything matters. Exactly. So that's going to be super important. But at the same time, I want you to be living the easy button because you don't have to make it complicated. So far, what I've shown you, by the way, is what? I've shown you something very simple. 3 basic simple things. Find your content, leverage your content, go out to different arenas with your content, and then engage your customer. So guys, what I want you to do is I want you to start small, okay? Start with a few pieces of content. I want you to think big and expand that content by repurposing that content, right? And then scale it consistently as you continue to engage. Does that make sense? Okay? So isn't this great? Can you see yourself doing this now? And Bobby says easy is best. Exactly, right? So let me tell you something. What we're talking about here, we're talking about these 2 real people, and there's plenty more. And we have case studies that we're happy to share with you, tons of them, okay? But here's one that may surprise you. This is great. One size fits all mouth. That's perfect, Brian says. Cisco. You guys have all heard of Cisco? Cisco's probably powering our webinar right now. We work with Cisco. Cisco began with 3 original assets, turned those into 113, okay, over 50 channels, which brought in over 2,500 different posts and points of connection with an audience. Huge, right? Are they happy? Oh my gosh, yes. The guy that engaged us is a very popular person in the marketing department at Cisco right now, right? He's a hero because the work got done. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to be a hero as well without having to work so hard. You guys, I'll tell you what, when you're trying to think about running all those Facebook ads and running this and running that and running all these different videos and all the things that we're getting busy with, I gotta tell you, it's tiring. I don't want you to have to work so hard, right? I don't want you to work so hard. So what about you? What's it going to mean to you, by the way? What would it mean to have an extra, say, 10 grand a month coming in right now? Would that change a few things for you? Especially if your content did the work for you? Yeah, everyone's like, oh yeah. All right. What's a consistent 6 to 7 figure income worth to you? Now, by the way, if you are an author, a coach, a consultant, this is totally for you. If you have a product, this is totally. We've worked with casino companies, online casino companies. I mean, and gardening companies. I mean, all of you can make that work. What will this do for you if you've got consistent money coming into helping with your time and your freedom and your lifestyle and your income and your pride and confidence? I mean, what do you think about our boy Robert? Do you think Robert's got a self-esteem issue right now? No, Robert's loving it. People are respecting him. He's not hiding as an embarrassed newbie who's been trying to do the same thing for 3 years and still hasn't achieved anything. He's not hiding from his friends anymore, right? So that's the key. Brian says, drop the cents off your slide. Brian, I'll tell you what, the cents are there for a reason. You want to know why they're there? Because it makes the number look bigger. There's a strategy to everything that we do. Okay, so there's a purpose for that, and you'll do the same thing. Okay, we do everything for a reason, my friend. But thanks for pointing that out. I'm glad you noticed. So let me ask you guys, what have we learned today so far? You got to be bold to succeed this year, by the way, and every year. Next, you got to diversify your marketing. Continuity is critical, both to your income and your activity. I don't want you to have bad months and good months. I want you to have every month being a better month, right? And solid systems will help you win consistently. That's marketing strategy, and also looking at the analytics to know where you want to deploy your energy in your effort. So guys, a big question. Would you like us to help you? Would you like us to help you? I know we had limited time, right? I'm seeing a lot of yeses coming through. But did I do okay? Did I give you a bunch of good strategies you can put in place? Okay, awesome. Okay, and I did figure that was going to be your answer. So let me introduce you to what we call Content Leverage Lab. Thanks, Tracy. I appreciate that. Excuse me. Content Leverage Lab is all about taking your content, leveraging your content, and having that content make you as much money as you want it to. Because quite frankly, like I said, content is key. And it's king. It really is. These days, that's what it is. And that's how you're going to be looked at. Tracy, when you and I were in LA and we were talking about creating our own web TV show, that's all content. That's all content. And every bit of that content, just doing a web TV show, for example, every bit of that can be transcribed, can be turned into audio, can be turned into blog posts. All of that is gigantic and can be completely re-leveraged. Okay, so it's absolutely massive. Okay, so here's what we're going to recommend how we begin. We're going to suggest that you begin with 4 original assets. Okay, that could be, and by the way, you could turn one video into 4 assets too, right? You could turn it into an audio or whatever, but 4 assets. Next, we'll turn those 4 assets into 69 by turning them into, again, different pieces. Of the 69, we'll put them out to 30 channels. Now, you can go bigger, but again, I want you to start small, all right? And then that'll turn into 294 points of connection or posts, okay? That's the beginning, okay? How many of you would love to have just 4 pieces being transformed into nearly 300 within about 30 days, right? That's the beginning of this. So you're going to see for the first 30 days content being created, but you're not going to make money in 30 days. Okay, are we clear with that? All right. Again, we got to get the work done and get the work done right. This is again laying the foundation. Right. Next, what we're going to do for you is we're going to professionally repurpose your content to create those multiple content assets. We're going to distribute those assets to up to 65 different content channels. And again, that'll be depending upon how far you want to go. But we go up to about 65 channels. Next, we'll amplify and multiply the reach of those assets exponentially to get to, in this case, the 294 that I mentioned a minute ago, or more, depending upon how big you want to go. Again, like I said, I want you to start small and scale up. Okay, that's what I want you to do. Then we'll continue. We want to go ahead now and we want to get the engagement going. So we'll increase the page likes and we'll do that with real people who work in the U.S. who are actually interested in being your fans. By the way, we're not going to be building fans that done like the Fiverr way. We're going to do this with real people. You'll get engaging content posting through curation, and that's really important as well. We'll post your pieces designed for engagement with pictures and actionable status updates and so on. We'll answer, by the way, this is important. We'll answer basic questions in chat with your engagers so you don't have to be a slave to your computer, which means that your family can stop saying, get off the computer and come to dinner. I mean, now you can actually do your thing, right? Because we'll do it for you. But here's the thing, okay? The hard questions, let's say you have an insurance company or you do something that's specific, you're a dental firm or something, where there's a question that we can't answer, then it'll get kicked back to you. Now, don't worry about that. That's a great thing because that's us giving you a lead that wants to give you money. Okay, so the hard questions that we don't know will come back to you. So now you get direct engagement with them, and that's just the beginning. I mean, that's pretty comprehensive, right? The key to it is this: you do stuff that you're good at, like laying on the beach. I mean, like that you're good at. Excuse me, and we will do the heavy lifting. We will do the heavy lifting. Okay, so here's how it works. Okay, when we do Content Leverage Lab, it is a quarterly relationship because you got to recognize that first month that we're doing, okay, the first month is the creation of all of the repurposed stuff, right? The second month is deploying it, and the third month starts bringing money in. So we do a quarterly relationship. The tuition or the tariff, if you will, for the first 3 months is a $30,000 plus value. No question about that. I mean, no question about that. But that's not what it's going to be. It's a $997. It's a $10,000 a quarter. Okay, price plus $497 one-time setup. Now, hold your horses. We're going to take good care of you here, so sit tight. Again, how it's going to work is this. We're creating a machine for you. So the first month is, again, the repurposing and creation. Second month is content deployment. Third month is what I'm calling content profit attraction, CPA. This is where the money comes in because we've already got it going out, and during month 2, you'll start seeing some results, of course, but month 3 is where we bring it home. Now, when we go on to month 4, for the second quarter, the cycle is continuing because guess what we're doing in month 2? Not only are we deploying content, but we're taking the next set of content that you bring us, say your next 4 pieces, and getting that ready. So by the time you're in month 4, you now have 2 months of content out. Month 5, you see what I'm saying? It continues to grow. And then, by the way, the SEO, the real SEO that comes of this, starts to kick in and it gets exponential. So this thing goes off the rails. It just goes off the charts. So what does this mean? What would change in your life if you suddenly had a thriving business that started from nothing, for that matter? And by the way, if you have an existing business, it's going to go even faster, right? But if it threw off massive extra cash flow each day, each week, each month, be a big game changer, wouldn't it? Now, people, when they hear about what we're doing, they say that this blows away the typical novice internet marketer model, and it does, because now you're not positioned as a novice at all. We're taking you from 0 to wherever you want to be like that, okay? Just like that. Because, again, we're giving you the positioning of expert, and as an expert, you're going to have, what I want you to have, at any rate, is a high-level product that makes you a lot of money. If you're thinking you're going to do this with a $97 product, save your money because it won't work. This works when you're selling yourself the way you deserve to be sold, and that's with a big price ticket. How many of you guys are with me on that? How many of you know you're worth a lot more than you're currently charging? Just pop in the chat and tell me that, because that's really important. I need for you guys to absolutely believe in yourself that you are worth more than you're currently charging right now. And that's even if you're charging a lot, you're still worth more. Do we agree? Do we agree? Because I got to tell you something. A lot of you guys, your old habits about selling yourself for less die hard. Tracy, you of all people, yes, you definitely can charge more. Okay, so this is not for everybody because you got to do something. You got to provide 4 pieces of content. We'll give you an easy part on that too. And by the way, for those of you that are like, oh my gosh, it's so much money. You get what you pay for. This is your BMW. This is not your Chevette. Okay.
And you've got to provide 4 pieces of content per month, not just one time.
Right. Thank you. This is, 'cause as I'm saying, while it's quarterly, it's a quarterly relationship, but we're providing your services monthly. Okay. We want to be sure of that. So yeah. So it's 4 pieces every month. And if that's a problem for you, we'll help you with that too. Okay. And we have a couple things that'll help you with that. Thanks for that distinction, Gina. Okay. As I said, if it's important, you'll make it work because this is your future. And I got to tell you something. This is amazing. You're going to be absolutely thrilled when you start seeing those results and getting the invitations to speak at different places because people are like, they're seeing you now. Now you're no longer invisible. Now you're no longer invisible, right? So who does this work for? This is work for people just starting their business like Robert. This is work for people that are expanding their business or people whose businesses have been in contraction that need to re-expand it, like Marnie. People that are frustrated with their progress, people that simply want to invest for a great return. Well, heck, what better way to invest in your own business? And the people that want to diversify their income from what's currently working for them by doing something else to bring in money and revenue from different ways. Okay, just giant. When you do this, you guys, understand something. You will be ahead of the curve and years ahead of the pack because everyone else is still trying to figure this stuff out. So just getting started, we're going to give you some other things that will help you along the way to fill in the blanks and fill in the gaps. And some of this you may not even want and you may not even need, but it will help ground you and allow you to grow with us. So let me show you what we got. You're going to get 2 strategic social media master classes with Gina and I. We did these a while back, and they're amazing. And Gina, you want to jump in and let people know a little bit what's included with that because they're fantastic.
They really are. There's about 20 hours of training in each one. Each one was not just the 2 of us. It was probably 6 to 8 different faculty members in each one. Now, this isn't training on how to push buttons on social at all. This, as Ken is saying, is the strategic social media masterclass. There's 2 of them. And what that means is regardless of whether you're doing it yourself or we're doing it for you, it's going to help you think more high level about how social media fits into your overall business and how social media is actually going to help you drive revenues, generate leads, and more. Those two programs are really incredible, Ken.
Yeah, it's among the favorite things that we've done together, and I'm so proud of them. You will love them. So so go through them, and just one at a time because there's a lot of material there. You're next going to get access to the content and course creation masterclass that we did. Now that's a $497 value, and we have about, I guess, 8 or 9 speakers on that one, and it's all about obviously creating content and creating courses. One of the great ways that you build credibility is by having your own online digital course. And so you think about people that are putting their material up on udemy.com, for example. Another great way to put your content out there, right? So that's that, in a nutshell, that's going to help you in a tremendous way, right?
Next. And again, in this one,
yep.
If you are stuck on how to create the 4 pieces of content per month, well, all you need is this one masterclass. It's going to give you enough content for a year if you follow what we lay out in it easily.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But I'll tell you what, we're going to give you another training that we're going to be doing live with Justin Popovich. Justin is a genius at creating licensed content, otherwise known as private label rights content. He does a great job with his content, and we're going to be doing a special training with him just for you guys. That's coming up within the next month. Got to finish getting it scheduled, next 2 weeks probably. So Justin's fantastic. You're going to get all of that. You're also, and we love him. He's a pro at what he does. You're also going to get a load of this. You're going to get a membership to Motivation to Profit with Gina, Jack, and Direction University's amazing faculty. And that's a $497 value. And before I let Gina talk about it, because I know it's her prize baby and she loves this, I got to tell you, it is a fantastic program. It is a fantastic program. And I'm saying that not just because I actually taught one of the segments of it, which was a fantastic segment, but because it's really good. So Gina, why don't you let them know a little bit about what's involved with their MTP bonus?
Of all the courses I have ever created over the last 20 years or so, this is the one that I am most proud of. This course contains 45 or so lessons taught by the over 30 faculty members at Directions University. These are world-class people. Ken is one of them. Devin Michaels teaches outsourcing. Scott Manning teaches leverage. I could go on and on and on and on and on about all of our incredible faculty members. Each lesson is divided into a 1-hour segment. You're getting it in both audio and video format. And for every single 1-hour training, you're going to get a set of action steps. Think of them as the assignments for how to apply what you just learned in that training. And it's literally going to walk you through step by step from inception of idea all the way to getting a rock-solid recurring revenue stream out of your business. You're going to get this for how long, Ken?
Oh, Gina, I don't know. A week?
No.
How long?
I'm thinking they're going to get this for 90 days. The course sells for $497 a year or $47 a month. My favorite part of the entire course is a call that happens every week on Wednesdays. And there's a podcast included that will get you the recordings of the last 9 years of these Wednesday afternoon calls. We call them hug seats. And we call them that because people tell us that it feels like they just got a giant group hug. Here's the way a hug seat works. We take a look at who you are as a person, where you're at right now in your business, and where you want to be in the next 1 to 3 years and beyond. Not just in your business, but first, where do you want to be in life in the next 1 to 3 years and beyond? Second, what good do you want to do in the world? What difference do you want to make, or what legacy do you want to leave? And then together, we spend the balance of 2 hours together designing the strategic plan that's going to take you from where you're at to where you want to be. Might sound straightforward, But imagine week after week after week using the exact same system to apply to a completely different business. Every niche you can imagine, some for-profits, some non-profits, some offline businesses, some online businesses. Can you imagine what kind of ideas you're going to get for your own business when you see how this works and how it gets applied to so many different kinds of businesses? You're going to get 9 years of those recordings, and you're then going to have an opportunity to be on the hot seat for yourself.
And those are great. Those are so powerful. I mean, they're really amazing. So I completely recommend it. This is a fantastic addition for you guys. So you do totally want to take advantage of this, and don't let this one go by. Let me press on. You're going to get a one-on-one conversion strategy session with us, and that's going to be important. And that's really more of a content conversion strategy session. It's $1,000 value. You're going to get Gina or I or us together. And that's only going to be for the first 10 of you because we have limited amounts of time. So after you finish placing your order, you'll go straight to the calendar, and you'll be able to go ahead and schedule that with us, and that'll take place. The beginning of it will take place as soon as you're ready. So you'll have that. You'll have that as well. That's super important. And this is not a sales call. This is a how do we implement? Okay, really important because we want to be sure you're successful. So let me kind of lay it out.
They're going to get several calls, Ken.
Yeah,
there is the application call, which is just 30 minutes.
They don't know that yet.
But then there's actually multiple one-on-one calls. I don't think you even realize this, Ken. They're going to get at least 2 one-hour calls with me personally. The first is actually going to go over how they plan on getting a return on investment. If you aren't really suited for this and you're not really set up to actually make a return on your investment, more than likely we're not even going to take your money in the first place. But if you are, you and I are going to get together for about an hour. I've done one that was closer to an hour and a half. And we're going to tweak things as much as possible to make sure that you've got as much leverage in place so that you can get the biggest return on investment as possible out of this. We're then going to give you some assignments. You're going to go back and make those tweaks. Then we're going to get back together for a second call, and that's the one-on-one conversion strategy session, Ken.
Cool.
So altogether, there's between 3 and 4 hours of one-on-one time.
We've added more than I didn't even know. That's great. Yay!
I did.
You did. See that? I walk away for a minute and you get more. That's great. So let me summarize this. What you're going to get is 3 months of content and leverage lab services. And again, as you start making money, you'll have your next 3 months paid for by the profit you make from the first 3 months. So that's going to be fantastic, right? You're going to get your master classes. You're going to get the content and course creation master class. You're going to get the instant product leverage training with Justin Popovich. You're going to get motivation of profit. You're going to get not one, but many conversion strategy sessions with Gina and or I or us both. Okay, that's a total value of $12,987. For today, it's just $9,997 or 10 grand plus a setup fee of $497 to get everything started. Okay, now let me keep going. If you made the annual income that we're talking about, if you just did the $160-something thousand that Marnie was making, okay, and that's net after all the expenses, would it be worth investing? Whoops. You just saw the price drop here. $8,000 today. I'm already ahead of myself here. Would it be worth investing $8,000 today, assuming you had the money? Answer, yeah. Everyone's saying yes, right? So awesome. That means that you want this no matter what. So it's just about the investment amount and how you can actually afford it. So here's the thing, you guys. If all it did was help you blast through that $10,000 a month income threshold, that barrier that's been holding so many of you back, would it be worth it? Well, of course it would. What if it got you focused and set up to be a successful business much faster than you've already been? Would it be worth it? Absolutely, of course it would. What if it made you self-confident with a highly profitable business you can be proud of, and you will be proud of? Would it be worth it? Absolutely. So question, you guys, how much have you paid for your online education so far? How many thousands of dollars? And let's say, I can even say how many thousands of dollars over and above what just the content leverage first 3 months would be? Well, another question, of course, is how much does it return for you and over how many years, right? So the key is that right now, I don't want you spending money on education. I want you spending money on results. I want you putting your money into things that will actually produce for you, right? That's the whole thing, all right? So it's time to leverage your education and training. That's what I want you to do. I want you to leverage your education and training right now. So you can see why it's a great deal at 9997, but because you're special, as you just saw a minute ago, we're dropping it down for you for just 8,000 bucks, 7,997 when you join us right now. So here's what you're going to get once again: 3 months of content leverage lab services with us, turning that content out, deploying that content, engaging that content, basically making the money for you while you sit back and all you got to do is pump out 4 little pieces of content so we can turn those around into 264 different pieces of content for you, or post it all over the webosphere. You're going to get the strategic social media masterclasses, the content and course creation masterclass. You're going to get the instant product leverage training, plus motivation of profit, plus the strategy sessions. So again, total value is just of $12,009 for just $8,000 today, right now. So when you do that, you want to go straight now to iboostify.com/CLL, which stands for Content Leverage Lab, CLL-join. That's iboostify.com/CLL.join. And we'll put that in the chat for you as well. But when you get there, you're going to be in for a little bit of a surprise. So I'll explain that to you in just a second. I'll just get that in the chat for you right now. Whoops, 1 second here. Oops, I'm make sure I get this spelled right for you. There we go. Whoops, I put it in wrong. Don't use that link. It says join.
I got it.
I got it. It says join, but not join. Okay, so you're going to get thousands of dollars of bonuses as well, you guys, because again, we can't stop giving you stuff because we want to make sure you're successful. So number one, excuse me, your first bonus is going to be a free virtual assistant package from our friend Davin Michaels at 123 Employee. Davin has one of the largest virtual assistant centers here in the Philippines. It's $147 value, and you can use that VA for just about anything that you want. I would not have that VA creating any content for you. I want your content to be created either by you or someone that is very well spoken in the English language, from American English language, okay, and American culture. Western is what I'm getting at, okay? Next bonus is going to be a 1 year of iBoostify Site Wrap. Now, Site Wrap allows you, I love Site Wrap. Site Wrap allows you to put your links out all over Facebook for JVZoo, for example. It allows you to keep people on your website longer. Site Wrap allows you to keep your branding in place as you put your content out all over the globe.
That's the worst description of Site Wrap I have ever heard.
Fine.
Site Wrap is an absolute necessity in every marketer's toolkit. I know it was my idea and my design. Ken just built it. So here's what Site Wrap does. If you've ever tried to go to Facebook and put in a JVZoo affiliate link, you've probably already seen you can't do it. If you've ever promoted someone's affiliate product, you know that you don't have a way to get them to come back to your site. And if they don't buy, you have no way to follow up with them unless they're already on your list. Site Wrap fixes all of that. Site Wrap gives you a way to put any link onto your own website. So you want to send somebody to a JVZoo affiliate link? Awesome. You do it with your link, and you actually own the real estate at the top of the page, which means whether they buy or they don't buy, you could deliver a bonus right up on top. It also means you can do some nifty things like drop a retargeting cookie on them, so that if they don't buy your affiliate link right now, you could be marketing to them again and again and again and again, whether for that or something else. More importantly than anything else, when you're sending people to links other than your main website, you're not getting any credit in Google's eyes for doing that. By turning all of your links into links that are on your website, you are giving yourself a massive SEO infusion that's really going to make an enormous difference in how everything on your website ranks. That's a better description, Ken.
I'd say so. See, this is why, by the way, you want to work with other people who see who see things that you don't see. Site Wrap's fantastic. It totally is, and it's something that you will absolutely love. You'll get a full year of that. It's a $564 value. So thank you for jumping on that one. So once again, here's what you're getting now. You're getting 3 months of Content Leverage Lab services. You're getting the strategic social media masterclasses, the content course creation masterclass, the leverage training from Justin. You're getting motivation to profit, the strategy sessions, multiple ones. You're getting the virtual assistant 1 month and site wrap for a full year. Total value $13,698 for just $8,000 and a setup fee of $497. But we're not done yet. But go to iBoostify.com right now, CLL-join for a surprise. By the way, if you want to have PayPal pay for it for you, well, that's what I'd recommend. Let PayPal get it for you. You get no interest and no payments. Listen to this. No interest and no payments for 6 months when you use PayPal credit. Now, there are a couple of guidelines here. Number one, it's only for Americans or people with American PayPal accounts. So if you're overseas, and I know a number of you are in Australia, I apologize. I didn't create those rules. So it's only for the American PayPal clients. And there is a credit qualification. So if you do qualify for it, absolutely, I recommend that you go ahead and you use it. It's the best deal ever. Wouldn't you agree, Gina?
I would, but I think you do make payments. I think what they do is they take the amount and divide it out equally over a 6-month period, Ken.
Okay, then maybe they've changed it, because for a while they were doing it and there were no payments and no interest. So what you'll get is whatever.
It is 0% interest, but I just spent a couple grand with PayPal credit not that long ago, and it was simply divided out over 6 months instead of having to pay for it all up front.
Okay, then they changed it, because when we first started using it, it was 6 months, no payment, no interest. So now they want to get paid. Okay,
Gotcha.
But it's still better. It's still better than a one shot. So use it if you can.
Oh my gosh, it's so good, and it's way better than putting it on your own credit card.
Mm-hmm.
Leverage, guys.
Yep.
It's another example of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. But wait, there's more. We have more for you. For those of you that are thinking, oh my gosh, I got to create content, but I don't know how to create content, and all this madness. Well, guess what? We're going to give you some content. We're going to give you an exclusive bundle of premium rebrandable licensed content from Justin Popovich. Now, it is content that covers procrastination and inner game stuff. Okay, so if this fits you and fits what you're doing, fantastic. But it will help you to create content immediately, which can then be turned into content that we can put all over the web.
And let me modify that ever so slightly.
Yep.
No matter what niche you happen to be in, when we get together for your first call, let's talk about how you can take this premium rebrandable bundle and turn it into content that works for your audience. Because there isn't an audience I can't take this set of content and turn it into content to target. I can do that for every niche.
So that gives you the power to do. I mean, right now you win. And by the way, even if when you record the calls that you do with Gina and I or us together, guess what? There's content there too. So it's a win-win all the way down the line, right? So that's just bonus number 3. But wait, there's still more. Okay, you're going to be able to join our partner license program. That's a $2,000 value, because when you are part of Content Leverage Lab, you can now offer Content Leverage Lab to others. And you'll get paid. Let me tell you something. You can get paid commissions of anywhere from $4,000 to over $6,000 per year per client or more. Okay, so as a Content Leverage Lab customer, as a member of Content Leverage Lab, you have the ability to pass it on to friends and get paid for it. So that's a huge bonus. You'll be able to do that too. And frankly, think about it. All you need to do is bring in a few people, and it's paid for you. So pretty cool. So once again, here's what you're getting. You're getting the Content Leverage Lab for 3 solid months. You're getting the social media masterclasses, the content and course creation masterclass, the instant product leverage training, motivation to profit, the strategy sessions, the VA. You're getting site wrap for a full year. You're getting the brandable PLR content, which, as Gina just said, we'll be able to spin into just anything you need to move it into. And again, spin's not a good word for that. You'll be able to adapt it for your marketplace. And our partner license program, it's $15,800 of value. Yours today for just $7,997, just $8,000. Okay, and that one-time setup fee, right? So what you're going to get, once again, you're going to be saving today nearly $8,000 to get started when you go to iBoostify.com/CLL-join. Now remember, your key, you guys, is to go ahead and be consistent, which is why we're giving you a 3-month membership here. We're not selling it monthly, we're selling it quarterly. We're offering it quarterly because that's how you're going to win. We want to make sure you are abundantly successful. So that's how it's going to be done. Okay. So Joyce, we'll talk about that in just a second here. This is not for everybody, you guys, as I'm sure some of you know. This is not for Mr. Average or Ms. Average. Oh, no, no, no. This is for people that want to be superstars, that want to be superheroes. So here's what we're going to do. We know it's not for everybody. And as Gina just said, after talking with you, if we don't feel it's appropriate, we don't want your money. So what's going to happen is this. We're not going to charge you $8,000 today. When you go to iboostedby.com/CLL-join, you're going to be asked to simply put a $500 refundable, fully refundable deposit down right now. You'll get on a call with us over the next couple of days, and we'll sit and we'll talk about A, how it's going to work for you, B, how are you going to be able to pay for it? So if you have finance issues, how can we work on a payment plan? Whatever you need, we'll figure out to make it work for you. Okay, but this is a very personal business. Okay, this is all about engagement, and so we're going to work directly with you on that call before anything else is charged. Okay, so it's a $500. It tells us that you're serious and qualifies you. And again, that will, if you decide to be part of the program, it applies directly to your cost of marketing. Okay, so again, that's what it's going to be today, just $500 to get started. So once again, you're going to get all the things that you're seeing here on your screen, from Content Leverage Lab services all the way through to everything. And by the way, when you do it right now, you guys, when you actually do it right this minute, I'm also going to waive the $497 setup fee. So it's another $500 bonus to you. Okay, so go right now to iboostedby.com/CLL-join. You have basically two choices at this point. Okay, you basically have two choices. Choice number one is you can do nothing and not take the leap of faith and be in the same place you're at now and go forward, and you know what that's all about. And I don't want you to be there. The second option is to invest in yourself with a small investment right now compared to all the value you'll get in return. It's huge, right? And just give this a shot. Go ahead and put your $500 down right now. Get on the call with Gina and I, and we'll determine whether this is the right fit, and if it is, how we'll make it work. I think for most of you, it's a perfect fit. But again, we don't know until we sit down and we talk. And I want to make sure that we absolutely maximize what you bring to the table and what we bring to the table for you. So that way you win, because we want to be able to tell your story in the next webcast that we do. We want to be able to brag about you, right? So, and if it works for you, fantastic. If not, you let us know. We'll cancel the service. Okay, very simple, right? So apply right now. It's just $500, fully refundable if it's not a match. iboostedby.com/CLL-join. And guys, as I've said to you before, other opportunities cost you money and time. With this, you get money and time back. Okay, you get money and time back, plain and simple. So what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and I want you to just apply right now. Go to iboostedby.com/CLL-join. If you guys have questions, we can answer them right now for you. And again, whatever questions or concerns you have, we can completely take care of them on the personal call with you. Okay. So I see Bill said I'm already in. For those of you who are in, you can just pop in the chat and let me know that you're in. But I want to be sure that we are able to take good care of you. We have limited spots available, obviously, to be able to go ahead and take solid care of you and get these calls done over the next few days. But as I said, the first 10 of you will get those strategy sessions built in for you. So I want to be able to make sure that we serve you. Any other questions? I see Lily says, I'm signing up right now. Congratulations. Thank you. Any questions? Gina, do you see any questions that I'm missing here?
One of the questions was, I don't have the full $8,000 right now. Is there any type of a scholarship available? And what I said in return was, get that $500 application fee in immediately. Ken and I will get on the phone with you, whether it's through PayPal credit or something that we really get creative around. If this is something you're interested in doing to take your business to the next level, we will move heaven and earth to find a way to make it work for you.
Yep, absolutely. The key is serving you guys, right? I mean, the key is serving you guys. Now, understand something. Can you do this yourself? Absolutely, you can. Can you do it yourself in the kind of time frame that we're talking about, with the kind of power that we're talking about? No. We've looked at every...
Well, they could. If they've got 60 to 80 hours a week to do nothing but this, they could.
Right. That's what I'm saying. With the same amount of time frame and so on, not within 30 days. right? It's not
No.
gonna happen. But yeah, you can totally do this yourself. But what do you want your life to be? Do you want your life to you want to be doing this work, or do you want to be doing your life? And that's what I want you to be doing. I want you to be doing your life, right? So that to me is what you need to be doing. So I want you guys on board. I want you guys on board. I see Tom is in. Congratulations, Tom. I see your order. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Just go ahead and make sure that you hit the scheduler and get yourself scheduled with Gina and I. Okay. So that looks like I've got 3 or 4 already people that are here. So make sure that you
And
got
our
yourself in place.
goal for these guys, Ken, is not to even just get them to break even at the end of the quarter. We want an absolute, really nice return on an investment for you guys.
Absolutely.
Like the results that Ken talked about with both Robert and Marnie. That is doable for each and every one of you. Just takes moving forward, getting those 4 pieces of content. We'll take care of everything else.
Yeah, guys, remember this is about your future, and again, what our objective is your first quarter pays for your second quarter, pays for your third quarter, okay, and now you're playing with the house money, right? So your profits will fund your future. You just have to get the first piece done. 4 pieces of content. Tracy says, "Fantastic, that's great." Thank you so much, Tracy. I appreciate that. So guys, here's your option. We're talking about 4 pieces of content. We're talking about turning those 4 pieces of content and putting those 4 pieces of content out. Let me just go get the numbers here because I'm into like 264 different places. We're talking about putting them into 30 different venues. This is huge. Okay, we're talking about 69 different pieces of repurposed content for you. 294 places where it's going to be seen. That's huge for you. And by the way, if you're thinking to yourself, but I don't know what I'm going to do, get on with us on that call with us and we'll figure it out, because it really doesn't have to be hard. One of the things
No, it really doesn't.
One of the things
That's what hug seats are for, right, Ken?
Yeah. Well,
we take a look first at who you are as a person, where you want to be in the next 1 to 3 years and beyond, and what kind of a difference you want to make in the world, or what kind of a legacy you want to leave. I promise you that if I read between the lines and what that outlines for me, I will find the business you were meant to have.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I haven't been stumped yet, have I, Ken?
Nope. No, this is the fun part for us, quite frankly. But I'll tell you what. At the end of the day, here's the thing, you guys. At the end of the day, what we want you to do is what's going to give you the joy, right? It's what's going to give you the joy, and this is where the power is right here. This is where the power is right here. So if this is what you want, get on the call with us. Get that $500 deposit made today, right now, so you can be on with us tomorrow. Okay, if there's space available, and again, space is filling up pretty quickly. And let's go ahead and get you to where you want to be. Okay, you're going to love this. So, is there anything else? I don't see any other questions, and maybe I missed something. I think we're good.
I don't either.
Okay, cool. Well, then, you guys, I'm going to leave it in your hands. It's your choice. Do you want to have your business being on the screen, just like what you're seeing right now, being multiplied from just 4 little assets to nearly 300 different exposure points? It's entirely up to you. We're here to support you, and we'll help you make it work. And I'll tell you what, if you want to go from 0 to hero economically and in your entire lifestyle, wow, this way we'll build it for you in a way you can be completely proud of. It's a way that your family can be proud of. It's a way that your minister can be proud of. It's a way that your community can be proud of, because this is what serves other people. So with that said, Gina, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate your support, and it's always good to have one of my partners involved. And to you guys, I want to thank you all for being with us today, and I'm looking forward to serving you at the best we can.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for having me, Ken.
Bye, everybody. Take care, you all. Be good. Bye-bye.